everyone, and welcome to episode number 59 of the Karen Knits podcast. My name is Karen, and I'm coming to you from South Central Pennsylvania, where I live, where I work, where I knit, and where I get into all kinds of other crafty shenanigans. I'm so happy to have you here with me again today. If you're a new viewer, welcome. Thank you so much for checking out my little podcast. I'm really happy to have you here and hope you decide to stick around and watch a few more episodes with me. If you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back for another week to see what I've been up to. I appreciate that you come back and keep up with me from week to week. I appreciate it so much. We have a nice day here. It's really spring. The pollen's out in full force. My sinuses are really feeling it. My eyes are so itchy. Not even any mascara. I'm not even gonna bother trying with mascara today. No, not working. But it's a gorgeous spring. I was gonna say morning. It's late afternoon. It's almost supper time. It's been a long day and I've got a lot done, but I'm way behind schedule. But that's okay. I'll talk a little bit more about what's been going on today once we get to the end of the podcast. So it's been a busy week. I've made a fair bit of progress. I have 2 sort of finished objects. I have made some progress on one of my whips, and I've also started another work in progress. If you've been following me for the last few weeks to a month, you probably suspect what the new cast on is, but I'll save that to the end, and we'll show you that after I've showed you a few other things. So my 2 sort of finished objects. These are the Mitten Garland Advent Calendar. They're little miniature mittens to make an Advent garland calendar once they're all done. It's a pattern by Kathy Lewinsky, and it's a free pattern by Kathy Lewinsky. And I'm working on this as a knit along with a few friends of mine online. And what we're doing is we are spending a little bit of time each day working on a mitten. And the goal is that we do 5 rows per day. And by the beginning of December 2021, we will have all 24 mittens done. And our Advent calendar little garland will be complete. I'm behind schedule again. I should have started mitten number 8 yesterday. I'll catch up on that again. And I had been behind on mitten number 6 and 7, which I did finish. When we were talking last week, I probably only had a little bit of the top of the mitten to go and the thumb. I hadn't done the thumb yet, and I only had a little bit left on here. So we finished mitten number 6. It's a cute little mitten, I like it. And so that was done. And then I got on to doing mitten number 7. Sort of looks like a 7, doesn't it? Close enough. I think once that straightens out, it looks a little bit more like a 7. And for these, I'm using 2.25 millimeter needles, and I'm using all kinds of leftovers of Knit Picks palette yarn. So this is mitten number 7. It came out a little bit more narrow than the other ones. None of these have been blocked yet. I'm going to have to sit down and do a marathon blocking session with all of these little guys one of these days. I really shouldn't leave it till the end because I really don't think I want to block 24 of these little guys. But I love this color combination. Might not be that Christmassy, but oh man, I want a sweater in this, particularly with the light background, or with the light color work pops. I love this. I love these colors. I think I like the colors on me as well. So I have to figure out what they are because I lost the labels to these 2 guys. But I want to figure out what colors those are because I want a sweater in this. Whether I do hold double and make it a little heavier sweater, or if I do it in fingering weight, we shall see. I want a sweater in those colors. I think I said that already. Anyway, so I like this. I love the colors. And this is a cute little mitten. But like I say, it's a little bit narrower than the other guys. Actually, maybe not much. Yeah, maybe I'm just imagining that. Anyway, it is a little bit longer. I have no idea how that worked. Anywho, so 6 and 7 are now complete. You probably won't see 8. I might have a chance to get started on it later this week. I'm honestly not holding my breath on that. I don't think I'll get to it with the other whip I'm working on. So that's my sort of finished object. I think I'm at about 30% done now that I have 7 out of 24 done. Sounds like the neighbors are bouncing things off the floor above me again. Apartment dwelling, gotta love it. Oh well. So that's my one sort of finished object. There's still more to go. 8 through 24 still have to be completed, but I'm making progress and almost keeping up with it. My second work in progress that I've done a little bit, I really didn't do much on this one, my other whip this week. I really did spend most of my spare time this past week finishing mitten 6 and doing mitten 7. Basically was the majority of my free time. And then I got started on a new whip on Wednesday. So my second whip, no big surprise here, is my Damejakka Loppa sweater. And this is a pattern by Pinigiri. And I've made a little bit of progress, not a whole heck of a lot. I really, like I said, I basically spent my spare time this week working on my mittens and my new whip that I'll show you shortly. So I went from the red marker here. So I basically added an inch and a little bit. Not much, but a little bit. So there is a tiny bit more progress on Damejakka Loppa. I'm using whole super soft yarn for this in a variety of colors, and I'm also using 3mm needles, or US size 2.5, and 2.75mm for all the ribbing, the neckline, the ribbing that'll go down the front, the cuffs, and the waistband. So that's a little bit of progress on Damejakka Loppa, but I still have quite a bit left to go on that. I still have to finish both sleeves. It's starting to look a lot less likely that I'll be able to wear it while it's still cool enough for, yeah. I don't think I'll be wearing this until next fall. Oh well, such is life. Late in the day, I'm only drinking water now. I'm done with caffeine for the day, and I probably need more caffeine, but I'm done with it for the day. Now my new whip, there's a little sneak peek at it. I want to talk about this a little bit first, and then I'll show you more of the details on this. These are the Sock Madness 15 round 2 socks. So round 1 finished. I made it through round 1, and I'm working on round 2 right now. We shall see if I make it through into round 3 or not. So this round, holy moly, this was a fast turnaround. A fast turnaround. The first round was set to close when either all of the teams filled their 50 seats or 50 spots available, or we got to Wednesday at 1:59 p.m. Eastern Time. And so we got to 1:59 p.m. Eastern Time this past Wednesday, so just a few days ago. And there were still 3 spots open. So a couple teams did not get all 50 people or all 50 seats or spots. I keep calling them seats. They, 2 teams did not fill up all 50 spots that were available for round 1. So they'll continue on, their team will continue on into the next round with a smaller number of people competing. So the round 1 finished at 1:59 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday. And then the specs for round 2 came out at, I think it was 2:14 p.m. on Wednesday. So basically 15 minutes after the round closed, the specs were out. So everyone was just like, wow, that was fast. That was really fast. Once the specs come out, the pattern will come out within 48 hours. So I had some things to get done. I was late moving around in the afternoon. So I went to have a shower. I come back, I check my email. The pattern was out. The pattern came out at 2:43 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday. So basically from when round 1 closed until round 2 started was about 45 minutes. Like, holy moly, that was fast. That was a fast turnaround. And my husband and I were ready to head out for the afternoon. We were heading out for an early supper, and then we had things to do at church later in the afternoon, and then our Wednesday evening service. So I was in a scrambly panic trying to pack up things to get started on my round 2 socks, because I was really worried that it's like I'm just going to get left behind, because my team filled up very fast in round 1. And I just made it through round 1. I think number 45 or 46 out of the 50 that finished round 1. So I packed up everything I thought I needed so that I could work on a few things while my husband was prepping for the service, and I had some spare time. And I forgot to bring some waste yarn that I needed to start the pattern. So I didn't get started on it until I got home. It was a little after 8 o'clock on Wednesday evening. So I got started on Wednesday. I spent a goodly amount of time on Thursday working on it. Spent a goodly amount of time on Friday as well working on it. It is a very detailed pattern. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. I love it. But it is, for me, and I think for a lot of people, looking at the speed that the completed socks are coming out, a lot of people are finding it to be a slower knit. It's a gorgeous pattern. I love the pattern. And I'm making slow and steady progress. I haven't done too much yet today. I'm saying this that already it's after 5 o'clock on Saturday. I haven't got as much done as I would have liked to have got done today. But I will get a fair bit done still this evening once I get the editing done on this video. So the pattern for Sock Madness 15 round 2 is called All the Bees, B''S. I'll put that down at the bottom here. And it's a pattern by Knit Joys. And when it's called All the Bees, it's called that because it includes beads, a boatload of beads. Something like 260 beads on here. Yeah, there's a lot of beads on here, which really slows most people down when they're doing beads. So it has beads, it has a little bit of brioche, and it has a few baubles. So there's beads, brioche, and baubles. It's slow going, and I'm loving it. The pattern is very detailed, and it has a lot of, each row has a lot happening. Whether there's little cables, whether there's brioche that's going on, whether there's a bauble in that place, whether you have to put a bead, whether you're slipping stitches. The pattern is not really memorizable. I have to look at and pay attention to each and every row. I'm getting a little quicker on it now, and I'm getting to where I've got over 3/4 of the beads are on. And I also had a few problems with my start. I ended up making 3 cuffs because I messed up the first one. And in a while, when I show you a bit, I'll show you where I messed up and why I had to redo it. But here's what they look like. So this is as far as I am right now. I knit my socks typically 2 at a time, but in tandem. So I will do 1 cuff, then I'll do the second cuff. Then I will do a certain part of the leg, and then I'll do that same amount on the second sock. So this pattern has 4 charts that we use. There's the cuff is one bit of the instruction. Then chart number 1 is this portion. I just stabbed myself in the chest with the knitting needle. Occupational hazard. And I just dropped my knitting. Oh heavens. Hang on. Okay, let's put this one down so I don't hurt myself even more. And what was I saying? This is all of the beading for the first sock. So chart 1 is this beaded portion. Then chart 2 is going to be another portion on the leg. So this went from, I think, row 1 to 52, I think. Then the next part of the leg is rows 53 to 80-ish, 84. I can't remember for sure right off the top of my head. And then there's a chart for the heel flap, and then there's a chart for down the front of the foot. So I have chart 1 complete on the first sock, and chart 1 is a little over halfway done on the second sock. I have 30 or 31 rows done on chart 1 of the second sock out of 52 rows. So let's just look at this sock in a little bit. Isn't it so pretty? It is really pretty. This cast on was interesting. It was really neat to do. It's kind of magic. It was to me, it was kind of magic. That didn't work the first time. So you do, it's a type of provisional cast on, and then you apply the beads, continue on with the cuff, and then you finish off the cuff, and you take out the provisional cast on part. And I don't think I'm revealing anything on the pattern by describing it that way. So when I did the first cuff, when I pulled out the provisional cast on, it didn't work, and I had a couple stitches that were messed up. There was a couple stitches that were loose, and it was just everything was gonna unravel on me. And Silly me did the entire cuff before I removed the provisional cast on. I should have just done a few rows and then done that, and I would have saved myself a little bit of grief, but another story for another day. Not that big a deal. So I did the cuff, messed it up, pulled it out, did the cuff again, and then I did the cuff on the second sock, which was actually the third cuff I did. So I actually made 3 cuffs on this before I got this far. So all the beads are done. There's a little, you can see up close, all the beads are the same except for the middle of this little guy on the front and the back of the sock. So it's a really pretty sock. It's going to be gorgeous when it's done. I'll have to see once I've added more on. What the plan is I will finish chart 1 on here, and then I'm done with the beads. Done with the beads. So once I've done up to 52, row 52 on this one, then I'm just down to doing all the other fun stuff on the pattern. No beads. So I'm hoping I'll pick up a little bit of speed once I get to that point, but we shall see. So that is my All the Bees Sock Madness round 15, Sock Madness 15 round 2 socks. And they're so cute. So this round, only 40 people on each team advanced to round 3. So far on my team, 1 person has completed their socks. I'm hoping I make it through into round 3. I might not. That's fine. I will be fine if I don't make it through to the next round. I am hoping I make it into round 3 though. But we shall see. So this might be a little bit, I thought I'd be yakking for a long time on this, but I guess not. So other things that have been going on today. So I had an appointment at 10 o'clock this morning to donate blood. I donate blood as often as I can, I'm allowed to. And it was time to go in for another appointment to donate. And they usually recommend that you, the day before, a day or two before you donate, they recommend that you drink a little extra water so that you're well hydrated. And they recommend that you get a good night's sleep the night before. I went to bed it was about 10:30, and I was awake at 4:30 in the morning. Got up, went to the bathroom, went back to bed, and I tossed and turned for half an hour, and I thought, well, no use waking up me and my husband. So I got up and knit. But needless to say, I didn't get a good night's sleep last night, so I still went in and did my donation. The only problem is that this afternoon I've just been kind of like, we had to stop at the church afterwards to get my husband wanted to get a couple things done before tomorrow morning. So I settled down into his recliner in his office, and I had me a nice little half-hour, 45-minute nap. Other than the times when I snored loudly enough that I woke myself up. But I'm a little bit tired right now. I suspect it's going to be an early night for me. I'm hoping I can finish chart 1 on my socks tonight. Well, we shall see. So I went in and did my donation. No, you can't see it. I'll put a little picture here. I've got a funky little bruise on my arm right there. And it's just the way the bandage and the gauze was sitting there and the way the wrapping was on it, that it left a little bruise on there. But that's the needle goes this way and the bruise is going a little diagonal or a horizontal line. So whenever I donate blood, I've always been doing through the Red Cross what they call the Power Red donation. So I don't know if you guys are if you're regular blood donators or if you're familiar with that, with the Power Red, you basically do a double donation, and you're only allowed to go in you can only go in half as many times as you could if you just did the regular single pint donation. And there's certain characteristics that they want for people that do the Power Red donation. They particularly look for type O blood, which is mine. I'm type O positive. And they like it if you're over a certain height and over a certain weight. And they also want your hemoglobin level, your iron levels in your blood to be good. My iron levels are always high. They've always been high. That's just my normal. And even when I was a kid and a teenager and in my early 20s, I'd go for a doctor's appointment and they would do just that quick little finger prick test on your hemoglobin. And they'd say, oh, you must eat lots of liver. And I'm like, no, yuck, no. And they said, oh, you must take iron supplements. And I'm like, no. I do eat some red meat, not all the time, but I do eat some red meat. I do eat a lot of broccoli, spinach. I guess I probably do eat on a fairly regular basis foods that are a little bit higher in iron. But even without that, my hemoglobin levels are always on the high. When you look at the range, what the normal range is for women, if this is the low end of normal, this is the high end of normal, I'm like right here, or sometimes I'm a little bit above the normal range. Just for example, today I think the average is between 12 and 15, whatever units per whatever unit of blood. And today when I donated, mine was 15.5. So I'm always I'm always like butting right up to the high end of normal or a little bit above the high end of normal. It's not, the hemoglobin level's not so high that I become ineligible to donate, but it's always on the higher end, and they like that. So it means that I'm easily able to donate a double round. So what they do with it, so if you're squeamish at all, you might want to scoot away. But what they do is when they do the donation, they draw out 1 pint of blood. You're hooked up to a machine, and that machine will spin the blood, and it'll extract the red blood cells and the components of your blood that they want, and then it takes out the plasma and the platelets, and then once they've spun all that out and separated the components of the blood, they put the plasma and the platelets along with some extra saline solution, they run that back into you. So back in through the injection site. And then once they put that in, then they start the cycle again. And they draw out a 2nd pint of blood, spin it, separate out, keep what they want, give me back what they don't want. So you end up coming out typically more hydrated than usual, more hydrated than a regular donation, because you're also given a little extra saline solution with the return. But is that they're taking like 2 pints worth of red blood cells out of you. So it can be a little bit draining. Although for me, it typically doesn't bother me. I might be a little bit fatigued for the afternoon afterwards. And I don't typically tend to overdo it. So when I finish my donation, my husband comes with me typically, just in case I have a weird reaction, and he can drive us home if necessary. It's never happened, but just in case. So after we were done the donation, we went and had lunch, and then we went and picked up a few groceries. And we were walking along, and my husband's like, he says, "You're fading on me, aren't you?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Now I've done the donation. I've got a full belly. Not enough sleep the night before. I was fading. So we got the groceries, came back to the church. He got a few things done while I had a little nap on his recliner. And then we came back home, and I've just been putzing around this afternoon. So, excuse me. So the plan is for the rest of the day, since now it's almost 6 o'clock now. I'm going to get the editing done on here, and then I will get this uploaded onto YouTube, and we'll probably watch a movie tonight, or we will watch a movie tonight, and I will knit on my socks, and then I plan on being in bed snoring by 10 o'clock at the latest. I am tired, and it's mostly just because I'm tired because of not enough sleep last night, not specifically because of the donation. So I'll be eligible to donate again in 4 months. So end of July, beginning of August, I will be eligible to do another Power Red donation. Typically, if you do just a single donation, you can go in every 2 months. But with the Power Red, because they take a double, they only let you do it half the amount of time. So you can only go in once every 4 months. So I can only go in 3 times a year to donate. But I like being able to do the Power Red and send off a larger batch of concentrated O positive blood for people who need it. So, was that all? Oh, that was the other thing I was going to talk about. We broke, thanks to all of you guys, I broke 100 subscribers. When I checked earlier today, I'm at 104. So I'm just tickled with that. So I know I had mentioned last week that I was planning on doing a giveaway. I didn't have a chance to get that organized today. So what I will do is, because next week is also episode 60, and I broke the 100, so I will do a giveaway next week on my podcast. Unless I just do a separate video during the week. Maybe I'll do that. Let me sleep on that and I'll let you know. But thank you so much for everyone who's subscribed. Thank you from the bottom of my little old depleted heart, because I've got less blood running around my body right now. But thank you so much for your support and for following me and subscribing to my channel. Appreciate it more than you can imagine. So on that note, I shall let you go, and I'm going to get the editing done on this and keep working on my bees. All my bees, get those done. So hopefully I'll make it to round 3. Stay tuned for next Saturday and see if I finish these. I hope I'm done by Saturday. So again, this round will go until all of the teams have 40 spots on each team are filled, or we've gone 2 weeks, which will be a week this upcoming Wednesday at, on I guess the 21st at 2:43 in the afternoon, Eastern time. So I'm hoping to be done these before next weekend. So I'm hoping I can show you another finished pair of socks this week. Did I mention, I don't think I told you what yarn I was using on these. This is just Knit Picks Bear Stroll Fingering Weight yarn. It's just the basic bear yarn. When I do beads, I love to have the yarn be a really quiet, no no elaborate detail to the yarn. If I'm putting in all that time to put beads on my knitting, you're gonna see them. So on that note, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna go get this editing done. I'm gonna mull over some ideas for what I want to include for some prizes in my giveaway. And I will see you guys again in a week. Bye everyone.